Email is still one of the most useful tools in B2B sales, especially when you're talking to technical buyers, because they don't want to hop on a call with a sales rep right away. Or ever, really. They just don't want to talk to sales. In fact, Gartner reports that 75% of B2B buyers prefer a rep-free experience. And that includes engineers, developers, IT decision makers, and architects, all those types. Also, Gartner reported that most of those purchases where they don't talk to a rep introduce some sort of regret, but that's another topic for another day. So, technical buyers want to do their research, they want to review technical documentation, compare solutions, and get a sense of your credibility on their own terms before they decide to hand over any money or time. Email is probably the only channel that lets you deliver the information a prospect needs directly without interrupting their day and without, some tactic that can be hidden with a browser plugin. But the big problem with emails is that they're usually boring and unhelpful and just get deleted or marked as spam. That happens because most sales teams are sending generic, templated, forgettable emails. I personally delete probably 90% of the email sequences I receive. And the other 10%, I might read through them, but half the time I'm like, I just want to reply and tell them what they're doing wrong. So this video will be a little bit cathartic in that sense, but I want to walk you through how we write email sequences that actually get read and used by sales teams to get results. All right, so let's start with why most sales email sequences fail. It's usually because they start with a self-serving pitch, they offer no clear value, they include a vague or high-friction CTA, talk to sales, or sign up for a free demo, or go through this gated process, whatever. They feel robotic or obviously automated, and worst of all, they don't actually link to anything useful. The email, okay. I won't go there yet. Those kinds of emails mean no engagement, no replies, no feedback, just silence. And guess what? Silence doesn't give you any data about whether the email was helpful, whether it generated anything. So you don't know if your money was well spent. All right, so a good email feels like a helpful, relevant nudge and not a cold pitch. And to send out an effective email, you need to change your mindset. So your email sequence, don't think of it like a campaign. Think of it like a structured conversation. First of all, every message you send should feel like it came from a human being, not an AI or not a bot or something like that. It should be based on something real that the recipient is actually facing, and it should be easy to respond to. If it sounds like marketing copy or an AI template or copy pasta from some email course that you took, it's going to get ignored. You need your email sequences to actually sound like you wrote them to another person. Think of it like bumping into someone on the street. Like, they will want to engage with you if you have a good opening line, So that's what your email does. Now let's break down how all of that works step by step, starting with the subject line. You want to keep it short, you want to keep it honest, and you want to avoid gimmicks. Don't go clickbait on these people. Tech buyers, they hate clickbait. Even though they fall for it, in all sorts of other ways, when it comes to them buying something, it doesn't really work. So some examples of good subjects could be something like, quick question about your infrastructure stack. I saw you're hiring engineers. This might help. We just published this article about whatever. Thought you'd like it. The only goal of an email subject is to get the email opened, okay? Don't overthink it. It's just a single line that can get someone's attention and make them go, okay, sure, I'll click it, instead of I'll throw it out. All right, in the email itself, you want a good opening line, which means the first sentence should be about the buyer, not about you, not about your product, not about what you're selling, nothing like that. So a bad email starts out with, hi, I'm Anthony from Edify Content. We help companies like yours do blah, blah, blah. Who cares? That is the most forgettable thing in the world. I could go out on the street and meet 100 people who tell me the same thing. I won't remember any of them. It's better to say something like, hey, I saw your team is expanding into this new industry, or, I saw you in an article about whatever, and I thought you might be dealing with this specific problem. Or I noticed you mentioned this pain point on LinkedIn. I wanted to share something we put together that fixes that for you. It's free. You don't have to, don't put any obligation on them. Help them solve a problem. Your email needs to matter to them. Okay, in the body of the email, this is where you're going to offer value. It is not a pitch deck. You just need to make it clear that what you are going to provide is value. A solid email body includes a clear reason why you're reaching out. Don't just be some weirdo, creepy stalker who's like, hey, I know you have this problem. It should have a quick line on how your product actually helps them. And remember, it needs to be about helping them, not how like a feature that you think is great. And you need to have a link to something useful, like a case study, an integration diagram, or like a quick demo video. Don't make it promotional. Just be like, hey, here's how we solve this thing I know you're dealing with. It's a 30, 60-second video, whatever. It shows exactly how to fix it. Then you are actually helping them to solve a problem, not convince them to talk to you. Emails are not about getting on a call. They are about informing the buyer, the prospect, whatever. Item number 4 is your CTA. Keep it light. Remove any friction. Just make it easy to say yes. Instead of saying something like, let's book a 30-minute call next week to explore synergies, try something like, do you want me to send you a short Loom demo? Or would it help to see an integration diagram of, your system and ours? Or happy to send over a case study if that's useful. Like the CTA should feel like it's a favor to them and not a calendar trap. Okay. You're not going to be an energy vampire sucking all the energy out of the prospect. You want to energize your prospect so they're excited to solve their problem with your solution. Okay. Now here's how marketing can support better emails for the sales team. Marketing and sales, they need to be collaborating on this, because if your sales team doesn't have relevant case studies, short videos, or content they can link to, they're just going to send empty, meaningless emails. So marketing should be creating short blurbs or message blocks for different use cases, building content that's specifically designed for email, like one-pagers and demos and visuals, giving reps modular, reusable assets they can plug into their own voice. Like just set up a Google Doc and say, here are the things you need to say. You can, Mad Lib it. You can say, feel free to reword it in these ways, but make it clear what sales needs to say and the right language, so that when a prospect reads it, especially if they're technical, they're like, oh, this actually makes sense. It's not a bunch of made up jargon. So if you want your email to perform, it needs to be content enabled, which means that your CRM, your email, and your content are all aligned. And then you're getting results. When you do that, you're actually building a system that works for you. And that system will look like a CRM that shows everything in your pipeline, emails with the right message and content in front of them, in front of your prospects, content answering questions that your prospects have and building trust with them. And you can actually track what worked. You get data on what worked and what didn't. That's helpful for follow-up emails. So this is how performance marketing should work. It's not just like, hey, let's generate leads, but you're actually helping sales close deals. And most importantly, you're helping prospects solve problems. This is not about your revenue. This is about solving people's problems, making their lives better. Now, this is what we do at Edify Content. We don't just write copy or meaningless content. We help companies build email-ready content systems with case studies, one-pagers, demo flows, email modules, all that stuff that actually supports sales conversations. We make sure your sales team has something real to send, and we track what works. We refine the messaging over the time based on the data that we see. So if your outbound emails are being ignored and your reps are stuck with saying things like, let me follow up next week with a sales engineer, we want to fix that. So just reach out, send me an email, or go to edifycontent.com and reach out. Okay, in the next video, we're going to be talking about how to reduce the number of follow-up meetings with prospects and how to enable your sales team to move prospects towards conversion without needing to get an engineer involved. So if you want to share what's working or not working in your email strategy, feel free to reach out. You can DM me, leave a comment, or send an email to Anthony at edifycontent.com.